cheers. Alrighties. So stuffed in this rather spiffing box, you've got one Vivo V25. You've got Vivo's 44-watt flash charge adapter, Type-C USB cable. You got a tasty bit of condom case action, so you can slap that on your Vivo V25, keep it safe from all of the world's ills. And Vivo has also generously chucked in a pair of wired headphones as well. Lovely stuff, and it is a actual 3.5mm headphone jack set as well. Unfortunately though, that just appears to be a massive tease because there's not actually a 3.5mm jack anywhere on the Vivo V25. So I've got the Vivo V25 5G all set up, ready for action, and as you can see there, it is a chunky wee chap. The V25 Pro model is actually curved, but the regular Vivo V25 sports a more angular finish, including that iPhone-style flat edging. And this sort of design seems crazy popular among the sort of budget to mid-range Android smartphones in 2022. We've seen some Xiaomi phones like this. The Nothing phone, of course, was a big chunky morpho. And it is only a 6.44-inch display on the Vivo V25, so not the biggest around, but you do have fairly thick bezels surrounding that screen that adds a good bit of girth on. An almost Jimmy Hill-esque chin down below. And then if we flip it over, the arse end is constructed from fluorite AG glass. It's pretty hardy stuff, so hopefully it shouldn't scratch up over time. And as you can see, they've got a lovely matte finish as well to help mask fingerprints and other grime. And this right here is the aquamarine blue model. Very bright and beautiful and bold and vibrant. Absolutely adore it. But that rear end actually changes color when UV light strikes it, just like the Realme 9 Pro Plus. And yeah, it's really sunny out today, so I could just step outside my own front door to demonstrate this feature. But I'm going to take the lazy approach and just use the UV torch. And in Vivo's own words, you've got a soothing colour that evokes peace and calm, but as the light intensifies, the light greenish blue turns deeper and darker, like the gradient of the ocean as you dive deeper into its waters. Glide through the dancing shadows cast by the ripples and let your mind and body fully relax. Rock your world? Well, no worries, you can also pick up the Vivo V25 in sunrise gold or diamond black. Anywho, that's enough fun times with that funky design. Now let's take a look at the software, and what you've got here on the Vivo V25 is the latest FuntouchOS 12 slapped on top of Android 12. Thankfully, this doesn't really mess around too much with the Android UI experience. You've still got your Google Discover feed there. Let's not talk about the Sunderland match. You've got your apps tray to store away all of your goodies. You can drag down the notifications bar from anywhere on screen. But this does add in quite a lot of personalization options as well. So for instance, go to dynamic effects and you can piddle about with everything from the fingerprint icon animations to the facial recognition animations, the charging animations, pretty much everything. And FunTouch also adds in some decent gesture support, like a dedicated one-handed mode, quite useful as it's a chunky old smartphone this. And plenty of other bonus bits, including a dedicated gaming mode, which we'll bang on about in a bit. As for your storage, you've got a choice of 128 or 256 gigs of space for the Vivo V25. As you can see, this is the 256 gig model, 22 gigs used by the system, so not bad at all, plenty of spare space to go. But the good news is you don't need to upgrade to that 256 gig model because you do actually have space in that double-sided SIM tray for a micro SD memory card. Now the Vivo V25 5G sports basically the same display tech as the older V23 model. We're talking a 6.44-inch AMOLED screen with Full HD Plus resolution. Like most AMOLED displays on modern smartphones, it's an absolute cracker. You've got nice, sharp, punchy visuals on this thing, full HDR10 Plus streaming support, as well as you've got HDR support in the likes of Netflix. Viewing angles are as wide as you like, and even on a bright sunshiny day like today here in the good old UKs, I still had absolutely no issues whatsoever seeing what was going on that screen as long as I maxed out the brightness levels. And you do actually get an old school nipple notch up top housing that selfie camera, which does intrude a little bit on the action when you go full screen for your Netflix, your movies, your games, whatever else. But it's not quite as fat and intrusive as the one on the V23 with its double selfie cam action. Head to the display settings and you can play around with the screen colors. You've got a few different modes you can choose from. You can also customize the likes of the fonts, the font style, and as you can see here, you can play around with the refresh rate as well. It's on automatic to begin with, but you can bump it up to the maximum 90Hz refresh full time any means, but it has been downgraded since the previous model. You see, the Vivo V23 sported the MediaTek Dimensity 920 chipset, whereas here on the Vivo V25 it's just the regular 900. This is the same chipset that was found in the OnePlus Nord CE2 5G and the Oppo Find X5 Lite, and it's backed here on the Vivo by either 8 or 12 gigs of RAM. This is the 8 gig model, less than thrilling benchmark scores there. Everyday running is absolutely fine. You'll see the occasional little stumble here. The audio capture is absolutely fine as well. And if you stick it on that 4K level, you get some respectable detail coming through. And in low light, yeah, things get a bit more murky and grainy, but not too terrible. And then last up, if you flip around to that selfie shooter, it's a 50 megapixel effort, same as the V23, so it should capture your mug in lots of detail, far too much detail probably. And you could also shoot up to 4K resolution footage using that front-facing 50 meg selfie cam, again topping off at 30 frames per second. Just remember again to turn off the beautify bollocks, because if you don't, you'll have absolutely enormous anime style eyes and it'll be blood. That's what I reckon. What do you guys think? It'd be great to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Please do poke, subscribe and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech.